Sks today I'm doing a video review on a gun that I just recently picked up. It's kind of a unique gun. Right here. This is a Chinese Sino Soviet Sks, early production. Now if you look at, first off I'm going to go because a lot of people are curious about this. Now right on the side of the receiver there, oh, I don't care if you see my serial number, what the hell are you going to do with the serial number? You get those people that, oh, cover up the serial. It's like, what in the hell are they going to do with the fucking serial number? There's no gun registration in Minnesota anyway. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but you probably can't because this camera focuses like a piece of dog shit. The 26, factory 26, is located to the rear of the serial number. Now, this has, from what I can tell, I actually couldn't find anything on this particular number. The early 1956, which was the first year of production, have a letter and then 4 numbers. This one has a number, a letter, and then 4 numbers, and then a B and a Cyrillic A after the B. But, you know, which would make me think that this is probably an early 1956 or an early 1957, because there are no serial number examples that I could find where where it was a number, a letter, then this number. And then there's a BA stamped after that, or well, a B and then a Cyrillic looking A, or whatever that particular symbol is in Russian. But yeah, so this is either, from what I could find, this is either early 1956 or an early 1957 Sino-Soviet SKS, unissued, unfired, which is shocking, I know. The bolt face is completely clean. The piston, everything is completely clean on this rifle. The barrel's immaculate. You can tell that the barrel's never been fired. The stock, however, was really beat up from crate wear. When I got this gun, it had that shellac finish on it. That literally, that crap that you could just flake off with your fingernail. And it had the crate wear in the typical spots. I mean, where the bolt face would hit on the gun if they were in a crate. Right around here, and then right around here were the typical wear spots from the bolt impacting the gun. Other than that, there really isn't any big dings or anything in the gun, in the wood. I mean, the wood is fairly clean. The Cosmoline, however, did get to the wood. That's for sure. Right here, right where the shellac was all cracked. It was kind of like cracked, or it's a crappy finish. This here was just literally Cosmoline absorbed. The bad thing about Cosmoline is when it sits for 50 years like that, it really stains the stock, and it's hard to get that stain out. It doesn't bother me too much. I mean, I don't know. I just took it and took the shellac finish off, sanded it down with the 150. I'm not making it mirror smooth. I want it to kind of stay semi original. I'm not going to make it super pretty and shiny. There's no need for that. So I just did a teak wood, teak oil finish on it. 2 coats. It's nice. It'll bead. I didn't put any polyurethane on it. Don't intend to. The teak wood oil is fantastic. It beads water on the stock. There's really no need to do anything else to it. I do not want a shiny finish on it. As far as the bluing goes in the gun, obviously all 100%. The trigger pull on the gun, surprisingly, I would say it's about 1/3 lighter than any other SKS that I've ever held or fired. It's right around about 4 pounds, which is impressive. So I'm not going to do anything to the trigger. I'm not going to do a trigger job on it. It has a blade bayonet. Okay, here's the funny thing when I bought this rifle. This rifle I bought at Cabela's, and it was obviously it sat in some guy's collection for probably 30 years, and the guy never shot it because it was still caked in Cosmoline. The barrel was caked in Cosmoline, and it was imported by, I believe it's B West out of Tucson, Arizona. These were imported before, this particular was imported before the ban, obviously. Now the only ones that are imported are the small lot that's coming out of a different country, and they're the ones that are all beat up and the bluing's all worn off, and there really isn't much winners in that bunch that came in. Oddly enough, this particular gun came with a Paratrooper Bayonet on it, which is incorrect. Seeing as it has a slot for a blade bayonet. And I was thinking, I'm like, why now? Because I noticed that right away. Why is it like that? That doesn't make any sense. And as you can see here, the bayonet, it just slid in there and then laid just like that. It doesn't make any sense why they have a damn Paratrooper bayonet on it. But after thinking about it for a while, when they imported a lot of these back in the late 80s and the mid 80s, a lot of these did not have bayonets on them. They were imported without bayonets. I don't know why. Just most of them, from what I could read or find, a lot of them were bayonet free. They just weren't imported with bayonets. I don't know why. That's just what I could find. So what this is what I'm assuming is the guy who bought this wanted the bayonet on it. So he went out and he bought an SKS bayonet and just kind of plopped this Paratrooper spike bayonet on there. That's what I'm assuming anyway. But anyways, I ordered a blade bayonet, the correct bayonet for it, so that'll be coming here soon, and then she'll be complete. Other than that, the rifle's immaculate. Can't wait to get it out to the range. Like I said, it's all matching numbers. The gun, the finish. I mean, just looking at the bolt carrier, I mean, look at how clean that is. I mean, it's just, this gun has never been fired, and that's very, very, very rare as far as the Sino Soviets go. You don't see a lot of those out there. Another thing, obviously the rear sight has a Cyrillic 300 meter marking for the battle setting. Not that that's anything too shocking. Even the post Sino Soviet SKSs still retain that marking for quite some time. You could definitely tell that this is a Sino Soviet. I mean, the lockup on this gun is fantastic. I mean, obviously being new has probably quite a bit to do with it. There's absolutely no right to left play. I know when you on the rear side, I know when you do that it resets, but there is no right to left wobble on the rear side at all. Literally, this gun, with the exception of the only thing I had to do to this gun, it had stock wobble, where the stock would wobble in and out like when you squeezed it. I just fixed that. I just shimmed the cross bolt right here, which is the proper way to do that, and I have a video on how to do that if you want to know how to fix your SKS stock wobble, if it either wobbles up and down or the stock slides back and forth. This particular one didn't have this back and forth, but when you have a weapon this old, whether it's an SKS or whether it's anything, you're going to probably more than likely have some type of a stock wobble, because this gun here as it sits is 59, almost 60 years old, and it probably sat in a crate untouched for 60 years. And you could definitely tell the Cosmoline had been there for 60 years, because a lot of the Cosmoline was actually hard. In gas tube, like I literally had to take a punch and pound the freaking piston out with a punch and a hammer from the back, and it was just literally about, from the back of the piston, it was about that far of just solid, like literally hard Cosmoline. So it's been there for a while. In these rifles, as they sit, the stock can either swell or the stock can, shrink. And I've seen more or less that the stocks on guns will tend to shrink with time, just because they're more moisture is evaporating out of the stock or whatever. I don't know the exact science behind why it shrinks, but yeah, I mean, so even on a new rifle that hasn't been fired, the stock was a little loose. Easy fix though. All you need is a shim for that. But anyway, that's the kind of the out-of-box review on the Sino-Soviet SKS. If you want to know about your SKS markings and stuff, it's very complicated. I'm by no means an SKS Markings expert. I know a decent amount, but there's a lot of websites out there that if you type in Chinese SKS Markings or Chinese SKS serial number or Russian SKS serial number, whatever you have, there's a lot of websites out there where these guys are devoted, and they have all these different explanations, of what this stuff means. And go ahead and just look up those websites. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but like I said, you go into Google and you type in serial number, SKS serial number, Chinese SKS markings, whatever, it'll pop up. It'll be like in the first 5 or 6. There's a few guys out there that do it. It'll be in the first few things on Google. But anyway, that's a review on my SKS Spartan 765 out.